Hey guys, Scott here from Chernobyl Studios, and quite a few of you will definitely be confused by the title of this video, especially considering I wrote an entire song using Solemn Tone's Odin 2 and gave it a pretty good review. Yes, this is probably one of my very first clickbait titles because I don't agree with it. But now that I have your attention, I wanted to address a question that I got in my comments on this topic. Sorry to who asked me, I don't remember who you are. I just saved the question to a text document a long time ago. I wanted to respond to you much sooner than this, but life happens. I don't remember which video this was on, so if this was you, I'm sorry, but thanks for the awesome question, and now we can finally talk about it. Anyway, to the question. Question was, quote, do you feel that a purely MIDI production, regardless of sound quality, is somehow ethically less valuable because it's all digital? The question goes on to extrapolate. I'm imagining a record label would go something like, we can't publish MIDI material on our platform, or something like that. With VST instruments and such getting so good, what is your philosophical stance on digital versus recorded band music? Wow, that is a question, and it's quite a question that requires some unpacking. So let's start with the first part of this question. Do I feel purely MIDI productions, regardless of sound quality, are somehow ethically less valuable because it's all digital? My short answer to this is, no. I mean, what the hell is electronic body music anyway? Germany has made a field day with creating various electronic genres. I mean, of course, it has created nonsense where people blend songs together at 130 BPM with a sweep filter and call themselves DJs and whatever. I mean, that's annoying, but still, it doesn't change my answer. I get where this question comes from, and it comes from those true cult elitist artards that have inflated egos so big that it's blown their head up to a size where they can't even shove it up their own asses. These elitist ankle biters are everywhere, and you can't do anything about them. Ironically, these are the same elitists that can't write music or do any sort of decent production anyway, or they're the ones that say everything is overprocessed. I guess we're just gonna have to start recording with sticks and stones in the forest on a ball of wax to make these idiots happy. Yeah, who am I kidding? That they complain about that too. Especially if they're vegan, because the wax probably has animal products. And anyway, so here's the deal. MIDI does not write itself. Velocities are not edited by themselves. We have we have MIDI programmed drums on nearly every major metal release in the past few years, or at least completely sample replaced drums via MIDI. All right, we have entire MIDI orchestras being used in films, music, television, bass instrument libraries, choral instrument libraries. I mean, Hans Zimmer has created contact libraries that he uses in his productions. Is he somehow less of a composer now? Wait, I get it now. Oh, Odin 2 is a guitar sample library, therefore, you're not a real musician anymore. Well, that's retarded, you know. I don't get it. And this is clearly ridiculous. The MIDI instruments don't write themselves, guys. Anyone who wants to use a real musician would record your instrument. They're just fucking fooling themselves. Okay, Beethoven, right? Beethoven played the piano, the violin, and the viola. Does that mean any cello parts or choral parts or any other part that isn't a piano, violin, or viola? Does that mean he's somehow less of a composer now because he didn't use the actual instrument? I can already see this argument now, but Scott, he wrote it on a piano and then a real cellist played the cello part. It doesn't matter. He wrote it on a piano, didn't he? There is no fucking difference. You're just splitting hairs and you're jealous. That's it. All this true cult nonsense, it's a waste of time. Waste of time, and this is a large reason why genres like black metal are held back by absolute asshats who truly believe that the production needs to sound like it was recorded in a cellar in a small tin can with the worst production ever, and if you do anything to make it sound better, it's okay. I'm starting to go on a rant here. Anyway, just ignore the gammas that want to criticize you for using MIDI instruments to get your ideas down. What's next? Now, Trent Reznor has made his career using basically samples and various electronic instruments that he's created that the instruments don't exist. So what? He's not a composer anymore? He's not a creative musician anymore? Oh, Programmed Drums, by the way, on Pretty Hate Machine, one of the best albums ever from 9 Inch Nails. I guess that album doesn't count anymore because it wasn't a real drummer. This is just stupid. I mean, fine. On to the next part. What is my philosophical stance on digital versus recorded music? All music is digital now. You are recording it with a digital audio workstation, a DAW. All music is digital now. I'll just repeat that again. You are using a digital audio workstation. So that means you are creating digital music. I think the real question you meant here that was real instruments versus MIDI instruments. And again, I don't care if the song is awesome, creative, and it gives me the goosebumps, and I really enjoy it. I really don't care. One of my favorite genres right now, the new retro synthwave stuff, Time Cop. Love that stuff. It's amazing. There are no real instruments there. Sometimes Dance of the Dead will throw on some real guitar parts, but they use all different types of MIDI instruments as well. So I mean, you see how quickly this devolves into gobbledygook nonsense. Anyway, I've been writing MIDI parts for nearly 20 years. It requires human manipulation for it to do anything. The musician or the composer has to make the MIDI parts dance for him. MIDI doesn't do anything by itself. The Odin 2 as a product does absolutely jack shit unless you tell it what to do. And anybody who wants to sit there and complain, well, they could just, record the guitar part instead of wasting their time. You could just record the drum part instead of wasting your time programming it. You could just record the bass part instead of wasting your time programming it. You could just record the choral part instead of wasting your time programming it. You could just record you see how this goes? You see how this logic is retarded? And at some point, it's the slippery slope, right? You're retarded. There's no difference between Odin 2, a guitar sampler, and drum libraries. Absolutely no difference. None. MIDI instruments are tools for creations and creativity. A great example of this, obviously, is me. I love to write all my songs in MIDI, every single note. It's like a first rough draft for me, where I'm able to get a good idea of how everything works well together. Odin 2 has allowed me to make rough drafts in MIDI that I enjoy to hear back, and allows me to get excited about the upcoming potentiality of what I'm working on. How is this bad? How does this suck? How am I less of a musician now? How am I not true cult anymore? Because I use the guitar software library to write my ideas. Am I somehow less of a musician? I don't think so. And if you think so, you can go f yourself. And there's nobody else that wants to use MIDI to get their ideas out. They're not any less of a musician either. One day, of course, I would love to record one of my songs with a real orchestra. Absolutely. But that costs money. And until then, I'll be using my Contact and East-West libraries, because apparently that's okay with all the true cult elitists out there. That's perfectly fine, but guitar, no, no, no. No, no, no. How about this, guys? Just keep making music because that's what you like to do. Use the tools that allow you to get your ideas out the way you want to hear them, and ignore any idiot who wants to try and tell you that you're not true cult. So speaking of MIDI instruments, I made a 30-minute in-depth drum programming tutorial. You guys should definitely check that out. There's the little button thingy here in the video. You can go click that. I also allow you to download the exact MIDI file that I used in that video, as well as a PDF with extra tips and tricks. That's in exchange for joining my mailing list, which you should join anyway because you're missing out if you're not on it. I send extra content there, and I am creating something really freaking cool that you guys want to be a part of in the future. It's going to help a lot of you out, seriously. So, of course, subscribe, hit the bell notification for my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. And I would definitely be curious to hear what you guys think on this topic. I know I kind of went on a little rant there, but hey, there's something that kind of pisses me off. There are so many things worth arguing about, and a MIDI guitar software library is not one of them. All right. So what do you guys think about this topic? Let me know in the comments. I will be very curious to hear what you guys think. All right. So that does it for this video, guys. Have a good one.